I think sometimes we misinterpret scripture and we try to make things a little weird when it comes to God. I've heard people say stuff like, is God really in control? Or does he have restraint? Or just questions that is legitimate and rightfully so. I mean, we're dealing with a God that's still unknown to a lot of us, right? Like, we need to go deep with him, right? But I just want to talk about what control looks like when God is involved, right? The verse of the day for that is Deuteronomy 30, verse 19. It says, "This day I call the heavens and the earth as witness against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live." What does that mean? That means that God, in his sovereignty, has given us free will, right? And he wants us to choose. At the end of it all, we have life or death, and he would like us to choose life. But even in that choosing life, he gave us free will, right? I think sometimes we want to spiritualize a lot of things and want to go a little deeper than what God is really saying, and it's just black and white, right? Free will, it is what it is. Free will is you have the choice to choose what you want to do. And God has placed things and just perimeters and boundaries around that as well. That's why we have the Bible, right? He gave us commands, precepts, laws to kind of guide us into the right way. But even giving us that, he gave us free will as well, right? For example, one of the things people just gloss over, he said, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, right? And we want to take that scripture and um, say, well, I could probably change the person and bring the person to Christ. Yes, you can, but he literally said, do not become unequally yoked, right? So it's we interpreting scripture, and context is king as well. God is in control. He's in control of everything, right? He's in control. As we read the scripture, he made the heavens and the earth. He gave us life and death. He told us what choosing life brings, which is blessings, and if we choose death, it brings curses, right? But in that, he loves us so much that he wants us to choose him, but choosing him requires obedience. Like, we need to obey, right? So when people say stuff like, well, is God really in control? And if he was in control, then why would he let, bad things happen? Again, we live in a broken world, and we have an adversary that wants nothing but to steal, kill, and destroy, right? And we're still in a sinful body, right? And everything we do is contingent of consequences, good or bad. And the enemy plays into that as well, right? So when we know that God is in control, he will never let the righteous forsaken, nor their seed begging bread. That's what his word says, right? So most of the time we try to justify sin, or we try to um, ask the hard questions. And the hard questions, I said before, it's really it's good that you're asking those questions. But in the same breath, we have to understand that God gave us the Bible as a blueprint, and his word cannot change. He would not change his word just to accommodate us. Like, he's not a genie. He's not some magical, mystical person that's up in heaven saying, well, today just let me, let them do whatever they want. No, that he gave us his word so we can meditate on his word, that we can always be in his word so that we can live a righteous life. And would we fail sometimes and get it wrong? Yes, that's the whole point of the Christian life, is for us to fall and get back up again. And that does not give us license to sin. That gives us license to always come to a holy God where we have full access to him right now and say, Father, I am struggling in that area of my life. I'm struggling to understand, why would you allow me to go through this hard season? Why would you allow this person to do this to me or whatever? And in you coming in that place of humility and surrender, he will teach you. Maybe there's some things in your life that maybe he's using that to perfect his plan. Did he allow, you going through that hard season? Yes and no, maybe. Maybe there's some form of idolatry in your life. I'll give a testimony. So, I had a really good job, like a really good job. I always wanted this job. I always wanted to work with the federal government in Canada, and I got the job. I went back to school. I did all the things, and when I finally got the job that I really wanted, 6 months in, God told me to leave the job. At first, I was just like, leave the job? What? I was like, the devil is a lie. Like, what? Right? But then God started explaining to me that I started to make this job an idol. The title, the applause of my managers and bosses and all of those things, right? And just the title and the superiority of being better than others, right? Like, look at me now type thing. So he had to humble me. And humbling me was leaving this position and sitting home right now to really hear him and just surrender that over to him, right? Was God in control at that moment? Yes. Because he loved me so much that he exposed something in me that I had to deal with privately. Because then I would have probably gone up to the corporate ladder thinking it's out of my own strength, not including him anymore because I got what I wanted, and not understanding that he really loves me and don't want money and titles and all of those things to get to my head, right? My identity is not based on people, places, or things. My identity is based on what he said. I was made in his image and in his likeness, right? And my purpose on this earth is to rule, reign, and have dominion. And if I'm doing something opposite of that, then I'm walking in something that I have no authority in, right? So when we say God is in control, we're saying that he has sovereignty over everything, but he gave us free will. And his free will is based on love. He wants us to continue to come to him so that he can allow us to do certain things. And the thing when I was studying and to come on here and just encourage somebody is, God put it destiny helpers. He puts, we have our angels concerning us according to Psalms 91. He has, just things in place, contingency plan in place. This is it. So when we're going down the dark path, he already has a contingency plan in place. Romans 8:28 tells us that God works everything together for our good, for those who are in God. Like, he works everything. So when we take the wrong route, when we think we heard God and we didn't, and we're doing something out of our own flesh just to satisfy and gratify our flesh, he will use that as well, right? Does that give us license to sin? No. But he's still in control with everything that's going on in our lives. So I just wanted to come on here and encourage somebody. Deuteronomy 30 verse 19 and 2 Peter 3 and 5 talks about that. Talks about it. Talk to you soon. Bye.